If you were a school teacher, what would you do if someone cut you a check for $1 million?
$1 million and the educators get to decide?
That's right.
Opening up the classroom spaces more, bigger, much better library system.
Some updated technology definitely would be very helpful. Working technology.
The point is, just about every teacher will tell you there's a need for more funding. But the fact of the matter is, each year teachers in classrooms all over Ohio lose out because of tax abatements. Deals struck between local leaders and companies, either to move a company into town or to keep them from leaving. Here's how a typical deal works. Columbia Gas of Ohio wants to move their headquarters. And like a free agent in basketball or baseball, they're looking for the sweetest deal. And the city of Columbus came through and offered them this deal to keep the company, along with its 650 employees and $60 million annual payroll in Columbus. And in a year and a half, their new headquarters will be built right here, where this parking lot currently is, outside of Nationwide Arena. In return for making that $51 million investment, the city has promised Columbia Gas that for 10 years, they would only collect a quarter of every dollar in property taxes. That deal would mean Columbus City Schools would get a check for around $4.4 million over the decade. However, if the same investment were to be made without a deal over that decade, $10 million more would be headed to the school district. $1 million a year. There have been dozens of these kinds of deals made over the last 5 years. We went to Columbus Deputy Development Director Michael Stevens to find out why the city isn't doing more to make these deals more fair. We're looking at another $10 million that Columbus City Schools would be receiving, but because of this abatement, they're missing out.
I'd say, but for that abatement, there wouldn't be that investment, so that $10 million wouldn't exist.
What Stevens is basically saying is $440,000 a year is better than $103,000, and after that 10-year period is up, the abatement goes away. But schools don't have a voice during the negotiations. Should schools have a place at the table when these negotiations are being made, when these deals are struck? Should they have a voice, a say in this?
I believe they do. I believe the Ohio Revised Code has their interests covered in that, and that's why we do revenue sharing based on the abatements that we put in place.
He says for every new payroll generated over $1 million, the city splits half of the income tax revenue that's generated with the schools. And over the last 5 years, that has meant another $6.9 million in Columbus City Schools' bank account. Tax abatements are nothing new. They've been a way for local government to lure and keep companies in town for years. But there is a move to change it, at least how cities deal with business. Mayor Coleman identified the problem in his State of the City address last January.
Too often, municipalities, including Columbus, are pitted against each other in the fight for jobs. Companies shake down communities for incentives that, frankly, are unhealthy for that city.
A spokesperson for Mayor Coleman says they've brought in someone to specifically work on regional cooperation, and a big part of that is finding ways to solve this poaching issue. While no plan of action has been determined yet, they hope to have one in the near future. There is also a plan in the State House that would block these incentives. Only so far, no vote has been scheduled. Meanwhile, teachers will keep dreaming about that $1 million check.
I'd probably faint dead away.
In Columbus, Tom Brockman, NBC4.
Start thinking, all right, what can I do with this money? How can I spend it